Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Haslab Hiss Tank and the fourth tier possibilities that are out there. They're teasing what might come, or are they just playing with us? Do a quick recap of the tiers and what's been unlocked and what's already in this. What value are we getting for 300? We're going to go over that first. Possible ideas of what they could throw in the box and what they cannot. I also want to clear up some misnomers, some misunderstanding about Haslab in general. We'll go over that and more coming up. Okay, so starting out, this is where we're at with this package. What's your $300 getting you? You get the base core Hiss tank. It's got electronics, lights, and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's very nice looking. It looks very nice. Rolling treads and all that. You get a Hiss tank driver. Then you get the tactician because it unlocked, and we're going to look closer at that. We get the missile add-on. There's 12 missiles in their launchers is what it appears to be. We get retro canopy and side covers for the tread side covers, and then we get this female Hiss tank driver. It's actually a gunner, and she comes with all of these accessories. So let's look at each one of these individually. This is what you're getting so far with your $300 before the fourth tier unlocks. First, we need to look at the tactician driver, and we're going to have a poll for anyone that backs this, which I haven't backed it yet, but I plan to back one, possibly two. So, and I'll tell you how I do that too when we get to that point. The thing about this is that I think the winner is going to be the one on the right with the red helmet, which I think it looks cool. It's cool. But I personally would like to see the purple one. I have no doubt that I'm probably in the minority on that one, but I would like more people to be excited about the purple one because we don't have that many purple characters in the Joe and, you know, that red color scheme and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get a lot of that. So the purple would be cool. The blue's cool too, but we get a lot of blue already. That purple one stands out. It'll be a standout figure. I think it'd be a great option to pick that purple one. Okay, so since we already unlocked that tactician with by funding by the 6th, which is today, but technically yesterday when you watch this. But anyhow, then we get the missile launchers, which and the missiles. That's pretty cool. I've heard a lot of people act like they don't really care about this, and to me, it's not the greatest unlock. I mean, I'm not super excited about it. But they do look cool, and the tampograph on them, that's interesting. You're getting a little bit more value for your money in the box, and so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little more value. Maybe it cost them $3 to produce this, and then they toss it in the box for us. That's great. Now we got this canopy and these side pieces and all that kind of stuff. So with that, this is to make it look more retro, and here is what it will look like when it's more retro. So I kind of like that. You can also see what it looks like with your missile launchers on the side. And so this is where we're at. I saw a crazy picture of like a Hiss tank with a million things added to it. It almost looks like a spaceship. This is what it'll look like before it's over. I should have captured that. But anyway, this is a decent unlocked tier. But the whole point of this is what Hasbro's thinking, the direction they're thinking, the way they think. So it's interesting to kind of get in the head to get an idea of tier 4. Tier 3. Tier 3 is this one right here with the gunner. Now, the weapons and accessories that go with her, like the shovel and the pickaxe, that's kind of cool. A handgun, an actual assault rifle kind of thing. So that's working okay right there. But then you look to the left, and you get all these additional add-on pieces, like an extra under-mount gun to top-mount machine guns. So that almost feels like 2 tiers. That's pretty impressive in this unlock number 3. It feels like it would be 2 tiers. Because you look at some of the other tiers that they've done, and you're like, yep, this does feel like 2 unlocks. So where do we go from here? So there's a couple things about this. When they came out with this Instagram thing, they were trying to say that they're going to put off announcing tier 4. And in a funny way, and they're trying to have fun with it, which I'm fine with that. They're having fun with it, you know, they're being honest at the same time and mocking us, saying that we're funding this for them and we're fools for doing it. But it's all in good fun, and you know, go ahead and have some fun. That's great. Now, looking at this, we have a Cobra Commander here. Now, the thing is, Cobra Commander is being the spokesperson here. I want to point that out. The Cobra Commander's being a spokesperson. But they also had a video, and Cobra Commander was retro style looking. So this one looks like the first one, like the Regal Commander. So let's get into what I think, and a lot of people believe, is the number 4 unlock. And it should be a retro Cobra Commander. Now, the funny thing is, I bet you it is a retro Cobra Commander, and they were holding out for that to be something they announced later in the project to get another boost out of it. I believe that it's still going to be this Cobra Commander, and they're going to push this back and have another couple of tiers in the middle. And that's why they're holding off on announcing it. Or they're just holding off on announcing it because they just don't want to slow the campaign. I don't know. Anyhow, there is pushback on this. People saying, well, if we make this with the Haslab only and it's tied to the Haslab, then you can't do a general release. But there is actually a precedent set for the general release. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But what I would like to see is this Cobra Commander and a retro style one. And I would also like to see it brought out for a general release. But there's another one little thing they could include if they wanted to. They could bring back a mail-away Hooded Cobra Commander from the 80s, but make it, of course, into a modern style, into the classified line. Now, the thing about this one here is that I'm using pictures of the 25th anniversary, the 3.75, 4-inch, technically 4-inch, but they look good. They look good, but I think the actual classified ones would look even better. So that would be awesome to see these figures represented in classified. But they probably won't include a hooded head. Sadly, we're just going to be going around and around without that one. So there's a precedent that has been set in the past with the Haslab Razor Crest, where we got the same figure more or less, but released in the main line and with the Razor Crest. Now this, at first, was, in my opinion, I think this is one of the first times they did this. Not 100% sure about the Marvel inclusions, because there's some reuse of parts, a lot of reuse of parts in Marvel. But with this, it's the same figure, different style of pram, and it's vac metallized. So it is something special. We could do the same thing with Cobra Commander. We could have a vac metallized face plate, and then have a non-vac metallized face plate, maybe just a shiny silver, kind of like they did with the Destro, for a mainline release. And that would work just fine. And I'm sure fans would be okay with that. I think that would be perfectly fine. Me personally, I believe that would be perfectly fine. But it's a precedent that's already been set, so it could be done here. So the next thing I hear a lot of people talk about is this ASP, which is a good idea, and it's really interesting, and it's something cool that could be included. It's not a huge vehicle, but at the end of the day, this is something they probably want to charge $40 for and put it at retail, which it seems like they don't want to put anything at retail these days. But anyhow, I don't see this happening, although it is a great idea. It is something that would work, and it's very classic. I mean, almost everybody sees this and knows this is G.I. Joe, and they can recognize it and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's going to work. But it's a great idea, and it'd be an excellent add-in. It's just too big for an add-on tier, I believe. But if this is not too big for an add-on tier, what I'd really like to see is a Weather Dominator. Now, obviously, the Weather Dominator is not even on the table. It's not in the cards. Maybe they could have included a few of those pieces just for fun. Some of the earth and water and all that kind of stuff. But this is something I would love to have seen, maybe a small aspect of this in there. But I'd like to actually see them make this in the future. But yeah, this is nowhere near going to be on their list. So since I kind of mentioned I'm going to be discussing some of these misnomers, there's two specific misnomers that people do not seem to understand about Haslab. And so the first one is the maximum of 5. Now if you're into Joe, like that's your number one thing, and you're okay with dropping a few $1,000s on his tanks and buy 10 of them. Alright, so this part is kind of tricky because in the past you've been able to buy as many as you want, and you just had to do 5 per order. Now the thing about this is I do not suggest that you buy 5 on one order. I suggest you buy them all separately so that they ship out separately. But anyway, getting back to this, it says 5 per customer right now. The last campaign that I backed was this Razor Crest, and it said 5 per transaction. It still says it right now, actually. It's shipped in January, and 5 per transaction, meaning that you could place 1,000 transactions, and that would be perfectly fine. So getting back to this 5 per customer now, I'm starting to wonder if this is more or less one of those things that the shipping is now being added. So is this going to be a running change? Is this change in verbiage deliberate, or can you still order 5 per order and place 2, 3, 4, 5 orders of 5? I'm not sure if that's something that can be done. Or can you place 6 separate individual orders? I'm sure there's people out there that have ordered like 6 or 7 or 8, so they'd know, right? The next misnomer that I hear a lot of people talk about is that Hasbro can never put out a Haslab again. So once it's made, it's one and done, and they'll never make it again. That was actually, I looked deep into this to figure out if that's true. They have fine print saying that they can actually put out another version in a different color with a different style box. Say they made an all gray Unicron and the box looked completely different, they'd be allowed to do that again. Now, there's a couple things I do want to point out about the Haslab situation and how Hasbro works. If Hasbro were to put out, say, the His Tank, which we were talking about the His Tank, but any Haslab project again, first of all, it would be almost twice the price as the first run. That's just the way they operate. Of course, inflation, blah, blah, blah. They're going to use whatever excuse. It will cost way, way more. We saw this. We saw this already with the Millennium Falcon. I don't think this is the picture of, this isn't the picture of the Galaxy Edge one that they put out. It's not Haslab, but it's the Galaxy Edge one that they put out at Target for $400 for a product that originally cost $130. So with that, Haslab would charge way more. So if you want a few of these His Tanks, you should buy them now. So my question to you is, what do you think the 4th unlock tier will be? Is it going to be Cobra Commander? Because I think that would make all the fans super duper happy. Is it going to be an ASP? Because that's cool. It's a pretty good idea. That'd be a really, really big box because they're just cramming more into it. Or will it just be more missiles, weapons, accessories, and add-ons that you just clip onto it? Because that seems to be the direction that they're going. We really don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.